Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're talking about the new Pirate Alliance Kizuna Clash vs Blackbeard, the co-op Kizuna Clash that will be arriving on both the Japanese and the global side of the game starting January 24th, 1700, or 1900, sorry, PST, which is actually tomorrow for me. It's the 25th here in Australia, so pretty interesting when this actually goes live. We will be finally getting a Kizuna Super Boss on global. It's been a very, very long time since we've done so, and in today's video, we'll be talking about some teams to take down the regular Kizuna fights. Now, with this being a co-op, like, ranking event, I'm going to talk about the Super Boss, but we're not going to talk about teams. With the Super Boss, it's basically just build teams that just do the most amount of damage that your account can provide. So we are going to just talk about the stages and, like, what you guys need to get around them. And I don't really want to give anything away. Like, it's as simple as that. We don't know if they're going to be zombieable. We doubt it because of last month's, or last time's Japan Super Boss. So we are going into the assumption that they aren't zombieable. Huge shout out to Frankie House for the infographic that I will be bringing up. Thanks to our Discord as well. If you guys want to be a part of that, make sure to head over to the Discord. Link will be in the description as always. Big shout out to Frankie House and Pyroman as always for the infographic as well. But let's take a look at the event quickly. So there will be a Marshall D Teach. He does have a 5+, just like all of the Super Boss characters do. You can get Odin skulls from box 5 to 6, so if you are missing those skulls, don't stress. You can pick them up. Blackbeards will be in 6 to 7, and then basically that's all the information that we need to know. Gecko Moria will have a chance of appearing during the quest, and then you get a proof for friendship, the ultimate bond, if he does. There is limit break materials for Teach between box 1 and 5. The Yamato crystal skulls are available in the Kizuna shop, so if you did pick up Yamato and you don't have her 6+ skulls, they will be in the shop as well. Rebecca is making her way into the Kizuna shop, as well as a bunch of other Chopper Man missions and stuff as well. So, obviously it is a Pirate Alliance event, so there will be a lot of ranking missions. There will be bounty and stuff like that. I just want to see like what the boosted character list looks like. Obviously there's boss tokens. This is the character info right here. If you guys want to pause the video, have a bit of a read, you can just sign into the game and have a read. He's an interesting character. He's kind of like a free-to-play version of Page 1 Ulti from what I've sort of read. But he's a very interesting character. This is the one you want to look at here. He's a base stat booster for driven and fighter characters. Defense down immunity, removal. Setting this defense to 0 with a 2.25 conditional boost, which is actually pretty strong. 5 turns of special bind as well. So, it's kind of interesting. 500 base stats as well, which is cool. And removes all enemies' beneficial effects durations by 1 turn, which is a very Blackbeard-ish sort of ability. There will be powered up characters. Here we go. So the Ace and the Marco obviously do give you additional drops. I don't know how like essential these drops are going to be to rank high. If they're not zombieable, then obviously like you're going to cap out. Like especially if you're like an end-game player and you have a pretty good team, you're going to cap out at like whatever Super Boss level anyway. So having these characters isn't the be-all or end-all. Marco and Ace are going to be 5.25 times captains to Free Spirit Fighters and Free Spirit Shooters, respectively. They're both Free Spirit characters, so like just build Free Spirit teams and you should be hunky-dory there. Pretty much the way it goes. Ideally, you want to bring them so you get more like boss token drops anyway. Base stat boost, 2 times you have Roger Newgate, Luffy and the Straw Hats, Odin, Rayleigh and Gaban, the Garp, the Sengoku, Warple, Tashigi, I'm assuming Shanks and Buggy, they're there, and then Ivankov as well. So, pretty interesting boosted list. These characters are going to be doing a lot more damage, and then obviously all the Kizuna Rare Recruits are 1.5, which is actually pretty nice, and then 1.25 is all of these characters here. So, yeah, like I said, let's quickly have a look at the infograph. Like I said, big shout out to Frankie House and Pyroman. Let's slide over to the Discord. Alright, so before we get into the actual teams, we're going to take a look at the Super Boss information. Big shout out to Frankie House once again and Pyroman. Unfortunately, we don't have all of the information. So, it does say in extra information, this is all the information I could gather from the next Kizuna Clash. Take this information as a guideline instead of detailed guide to what will happen. Because this is what happens in Japan. We don't get all of the information. We just get a rough outline from the translation. So, the first Super Boss is a Super In character on Stage 1. You get Free Spirit Fighters driven cooldowns. Stage 2, we don't know who that fight is against. There's a preemptive that makes all slots tandem, makes tandem slots unfavorable, and after turn you get attack down, which is a little bit annoying. On stage 3, it's Blackbeard. He's an in character. He transforms into a super type, changes all orbs into empty, and gives you despair. So you basically want someone that can remove despair on the final turn, someone that can give you some orbs, a full board of orbs, and someone that can get around tandem slots. Now, a character that's going to be really good for this fight is obviously Whitebeard and Roger. They are boosted 2x stats. You also have something like Ivankov. Ivankov's great because he can give recovery slots. Wano Law's great because if the T&D slots are unfavorable, he's going to rotate those. So yeah, this against this particular fight, looking at those particular characters is going to be really, really good. On the int variation of the super boss, strength, psi, and int characters are boosted. On stage 2, there is a preemptive of paralysis, so that is the big thing you need to get around on stage 2. After turn 1, he clears all your buffs and gives you a 1.2 times attack boost. On stage 3, Blackbeard is a psi super type that gives you a full board of block orbs and has defense up. As I mentioned, we don't know how many turns of defense up it is, but look, it is what it is. The big thing you want to get around here is bring some strength, psi, and int characters, paralysis removal, block orb manipulation, as well as defense up removal, and then just fill the rest of the team out with as many attack boosters and match damage as output as you can. Obviously, once again, I feel like Roger Whitebeard is going to be really, really good here. Bring someone to get around paralysis is going to be a bit of a thing. You could use something like Halloween Mihawk as your captain if you just want to ignore that completely. With Whitebeard and Roger as your captain, you can do some shenanigans with that attack buff. That's another thing as well. Obviously, Ivankov is boosted as well. Oh, sorry, Ivankov. Ivankov's great for Kizuna because he can just turn himself into whatever you actually need. Then bring someone to remove the block orbs, the defense up on the final stage, and you should be hunky-dory from there. On the final super boss, he is a Dex super boss, obviously built for the Straw Hats V2. Free Spirits, Cerebrals, and Fighters get their cooldowns on stage 2. You get a preemptive of all bomb slots, and bomb slots are unfavorable. After turn 1, you get a chain lock, so don't go past turn 1. And then on stage 3, Blackbeard becomes a super Dex character who has gives you a full board of block orbs and gives you special blind. So a little bit annoying on that final fight, but as I mentioned, I feel like the Straw Hats are probably the best option here. They're special. If you have 2 of them, you can get around stage 2 very easily. On stage 3, you can get around stage 3 very easily with the block orb manipulation. But I would use something like Toki maybe as your captain. That way you can use the Toki shenanigans to get the 3.5 times attack and the orb boost, and then basically just use the Straw Hats to get around the block orbs. Bring someone for special bind. That way you'll be hunky-dory. But Strength has an array of very, very good characters, and you should be able to get around that. One thing I do want to say before we move on to the actual bosses is I don't like that all of these bosses, especially stage like 2 up here, these all have like these, if I can like figure myself out, these right here, these all have debuffs, which is very annoying because the whole idea of like super boss was just to bring max damage, right? Now we have debuffs to worry about as well. Even on the final stage, like down, I'm backwards, like down here, wow, this is hard. It shouldn't be this hard. Down here, there's like debuffs as well, but I feel like it did state that the new Sabo character that came out alongside the Kizuna banner, the support character, was going to be really good for this. So I do have a feeling it's going to be like 2 turns of all those things. Whatever that Sabo removes, that's what's going to be on the final stage, and that's how many turns you're going to have to get around. But nevertheless, we're not going to know until tomorrow when the event actually comes out. Be sure to check out the streams. I probably will be streaming it after the first day. I do have to work tomorrow, so I'm not sure exactly when I'll be streaming, but we will be streaming some of this as well, so that is something to look forward to as well. Alright, let's move on to the actual bosses now. Alright, so the infograph for the regular bosses looks a little bit like this. This is pinned in our Kizuna tab of the Discord, so head over to the Discord if you guys want to get access to this, if you want to check it out for yourself. Like I said, link for the Discord will be in the description below. Once again, big, huge shout out to Frankie House. Now, in today's video, I do have 2 teams for each variation, as well as 2 one-team beats alls. That's the whole idea I like to do these. I was going to do free-to-play teams and stuff, but, like, I wasn't feeling too crash hot, and I just couldn't be bothered wrapping my head around this stuff, especially when there are super bosses to, like, really, like, wrap my head around. That's where most of my brain power has gone. But the first boss is an int boss, and Free Spirits, Fighters, and Driven characters get their cooldowns. On stage 2, you have to get around damage reduction, and on stage 3, Blackbeard has defense up, gives you a full board of tandem slots, and makes them unfavorable. Then after level 30, you get attack down below a certain chain, as well as chain efficiency down. So your chain coefficient will actually drop, and the boosted effects won't be too much. So that's the int variation. The first team I have doesn't use Ace or Marco, and it looks a little bit like this. So it's led by Yamato. Now, Yamato is our captain here because she's great because she can do all these chain shenanigans. With her captain ability, she is a, well, she goes up to a 5 times captain. She gives those chain boosting shenanigans as well, 0.3. And then with this team, like, you can bring a friend Roger, you can bring your friend Ivankov, you can do all of those types of shenanigans. Just be mindful, though, if you do bring a friend Ivankov, that Wano orbs aren't classified as beneficial orbs, so you're not going to have that 5 times captain, so there's that. But you could also do something like with like some verse Shanks or something like that, shenanigans there. Can't remember who gets the cooldowns, actually. Now, and I think about it, Shanks doesn't get the cooldowns. So, for the chain, like, for the base stat boost, if you don't have Ivankov, you're probably best just to bring a friend captain Ivankov. We do have Rayleigh to get around damage reduction. Wano Law's great because he can rotate the T&D slots because they are unfavorable into matching. And then we have the Straw Hats to just give us an attack boost, color affinity, remove the defense up. If you guys don't have that Straw Hats, V1 Straw Hats, bring Roger as a friend captain, that's your attack booster. And then just bring someone else to remove defense up, and then you can, like, slide color affinity on this team as well. Roger can also give you a full board of orbs, but with this, you have a 2.25 times orb boost, a chain boundary, chain buff, Wano slots, chain multiplier, color affinity, base stats. You name it, this team's got it. Like, I don't even know who I'm going to run as a friend captain. Maybe Roger. I don't know. Like, I haven't even really given it that much thought who I'm going to run as a friend captain for this team. Because I already have Super Type, I guess I could replace the Straw Hats. I guess. If I am using Roger, that is. But this team's going to do so much damage. It should not have any issues. And it doesn't use Marco and Ace, which is really, really nice. The Marco and Ace team, however, it's a little bit like this. Now, it's pretty much the same team, but we just put Marco and Ace on there. Like, it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, Ace doesn't really do too much for this fight. He does rotate unfavorable orbs, but that's literally it. But he's the attack booster for this team now, which is, like, kind of cool, I guess. So he's a 2.25 times attack booster, so he replaced the Straw Hats on this particular team. As long as your HP is 50,000 or more, which is very, very easy to do. And then with Marco on this team, Marco, he also replaced the Straw Hats as well because he also removes defense up, which is pretty nice. We still have Rayleigh to get around damage reduction. If you don't have Rayleigh, just replace him with anyone that removes damage reduction. What actually I wanted to do on this team, actually, what I really wanted to do, was actually put on this Vivi. This Vivi does removes 5 turns of damage reduction, and then she can give me a color affinity carryover boost for free spirit characters, which is actually quite nice because then, like, Marco and Ace will get the color affinity. I imagine they got rainbow affinity. I didn't check that when I was doing my intro, but I imagine they do. Like, let me know in the comment section below if I just sort of glance past that. As for my friend captain, once again, bring Roger. Bring, like, Roger. You can't really use Roger because, like, Marco and Ace don't really boost it on them. But, like, I guess it's not going to matter all that much. Like, it should be fine. But, like I said, this team should work absolutely fine. We've got the orb boost still with Law. We have the chain boundary effect with Law. We have the chain shenanigans. That way you're getting above the chain limiter. You have the defense up removal with Marco. You're getting a lot of tickets. And with this particular team, actually, you do want to bring a friend. For this team, we'll bring a friend Marco or friend Ace, actually. That's something I just totally spaced on. You just want to bring a friend Marco and Ace because we are rocking free spirit teams. And that way you just can maximize your ticket growth. Same goes to the team that doesn't use them. Just bring a friend so that way you can get as many Super Boss tokens as you possibly can. On to the next variation now. Alright, so looking at Psi, Strength, Psi, and in characters get their cooldowns. And on stage 2, there is a tap barrier for perfect hits. We don't know how many perfect hits that is, but there is a tap barrier nonetheless. Cool. On stage 3, Blackbeard is a Psi character, and he binds your left-hand side and gives you a full board of badly matching orbs. After level 30, he gives you Despair. We don't know how many turns of Despair that is, obviously, because, like Frankie House says, this is all the information you could gather, it's all the information we have, and unfortunately, this is what we're rocking with. So, check out the playthrough video. If you want to, just stockpile your tokens, and then you can just check out some videos, and then that'll help you guys out. If you use a slot boost, though, there is a slot boost interrupt, so just be mindful of that, and this is where Roger is going to be very, very good for this. So, the first team I have without Marco and Ace is led by Roger themselves. Now, Roger are great because they can get around Despair with their special ability. And they can switch, give you the orb boost, and then you can turn the orb boost into a 3 times orb boost. It all works pretty hunky-dory, right? But there is a little bit of cheat code. If you don't have Roger, you can just do this. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just use Halloween Law. Now, Halloween Law is great because he can get around Despair. He's also going to give the carryover of the orb buff with the clock buff, which is great. Shanks and Buggy are boosted, which is very, very nice. Shanks and Buggy can remove the bind. I imagine that's all you need. And if you need more bind removal, for what, like if it's, say, it's 6 turns or something stupid, we have that. Like, Whitey Bay. Oh, sorry, 9 turns or something dumb. We have Whitey Bay. Like, Whitey Bay will also remove it. You also have, I think this guy removes bind as well. Yeah. So you can do this. There's even more bind removal there, right? Like, but the idea of Caesar is to use the chain boost on the previous turn. Now, Int doesn't really have any good chain boundary characters, which kind of sucks. But chain boost is going to be way better because of Wodge's final tap. Wodge's final tap gives, like, adds 4.0 to the chain multiplier. So if you get a friend that has a level 5, you can just do some crazy numbers. With this team, because you have the carryover of the orb buff, thanks to, what's his name? Thanks to Law, we are going to be using the Nami support, actually, this one here. Where are you? This Nami here. We are going to be using the Nami support to get a small color affinity and then use Roger to turn it into a 1.8, roughly. But if you guys don't have this Bond Clay, you can easily just replace Bond Clay with a better color affinity booster. You could also use something like Robin and Jinbei if you wanted to. They could also give you a base stat boost. Unfortunately, you can't use Whitebeard unless you don't have Whitebeard yourself. If you have Verse Whitebeard, you can definitely use Verse Whitebeard as a base stat booster. But otherwise, this team should do a butt ton of damage. It shouldn't have any issues. And again, it doesn't use Marco and Ace. Unfortunately, it can't really access a Marco and Ace friend captain. Looking at it, like, it really can't. But I'm sure there's a way that you definitely could for the early stages. However that's going to look is a little bit shaky. I mean, probably for the early stages, you probably could, and then just rely on just hitting with, like, Marco and Ace last, you know, like, that is definitely an option for you. But, let's move on to the Marco and Ace team now. Alright, so the team with Marco and Ace looks a little bit different. It looks a little bit different. We are using Bond Clay as our captain. Now, if you guys don't have Bond Clay, as I mentioned, just use, like, another, like, good int captain that can boost everyone. Something like Bonnie should work absolutely fine off the top of my head. Or just another character that's just an int captain, really. But the idea of this team is I did sort of keep it very free spirit centric. Except for Shanks and Buggy and Roger Whitebeard. Now, Roger Whitebeard are great because we're gonna be using Roger and Whitebeard's, like, switch ability to get the attack and the... sorry, we're not even going to do that, sorry. We are going to be using their special to turn the attack boost into a... no, we're not. We're going to be using the Whitebeard special to actually give us color affinity and a 3 times orb boost. So the idea here is actually we want to start as Whitebeard. The idea here is we want to start as... Okay, it's not that. It's Newgate, isn't it? Okay, it's not that either. Well, that's why. No, okay, let's just go Roger, maybe? Okay, no, what's going on here? We actually want to start as Whitebeard, so that way we can switch into Roger and then into Whitebeard. Whitebeard's going to give us the color affinity buff, as well as then change the orb buff into a 3 times orb. With that, we can turn, what's his name? Bond Clay into an int unit. He gives the base stats, so we get the attack boost from Ace. We get a chain lock from Marco, or the Bond Clay super typing will work absolutely fine as well. And then we can actually turn Bond Clay into a free spirit striker or a free spirit slasher. And that should all work very, very hunky-dory. I've just slapped Shanks and Buggy on this team. But if you want to bring a friend, what's it called? If you want to bring a friend Marco or a friend Ace, ideally you just want to make sure that that character is like a free spirit or even a fighter character like the Sengoku's boosted. That way you can just make sure that you can get the full buff on this particular team. But as I mentioned, if you don't have Bond Clay, Bonnie would be another really, really good option as a captain. Bonnie can give you like a very good attack boost, but like she's just sort of like a rainbow looking captain. Another option would be using something like what's their names? Robin Jim. You couldn't really use Robin Jimba actually now that I'm really thinking about it. If you don't have Roger, you could definitely use Verse Whitebeard. He could be an option for you. But you really want to make sure that your Ace and your Marco are getting some sort of buff. Doesn't matter if it's not a full buff, but as long as they're getting some sort of buff, that is going to help you out drastically. If you have Bond Clay, you are going to be in really good stead. I do think that the Psy variation is probably the hardest to build for. especially if you do have Ace and Marco, just because they don't gel with Whitebeard and Roger, ironically enough. But, look, it is what it is. So that's the team with Marco and Ace. Let's move on to the final variation now. And the final variation is against Dex Blackbeard. Free Spirit Fighter Cerebrals get their cooldowns, and on stage 2, you get a full board of Tandem, Bomb, and Meat Orbs, which is a little bit annoying. He also then puts up a random slot barrier of either Strength and Dex. You can see where this is going, right? Stage 3, Blackbeard is a Dex character who gives you Attack Down, Block Orbs, and locks those orbs. He has a Revive mechanic and revives with 21% HP, so it just means, like, you can't bring anyone to just insta-kill, which sucks. But nevertheless, it doesn't matter. After level 30, there is more Attack Down and Paralysis, so that is something to note. So obviously, as you can see, V2 Straw Hats look like they are going to be the ones to use here. And for the first team, we are going to be using them as a friend captain. I did manage to pull Toki in my summons for this banner, thank God. Finally got my hands on Toki, which is really, really good. So I'm using Toki as my captain. With the Toki effect, you can get the 3.5 times attack and orb boost on 2 chosen characters. I would probably pick like Garp and Toki, and then use the final tap of the Straw Hats. But the idea of this team is you get that 3.5 times attack boost. You can use Garp to get around the barrier on turn 2, provided it's only 1 turn. But nevertheless, he's going to give you Strength Orbs on your left-hand side anyway. And then you can switch with the Straw Hats into the Dex variation if you need that Dex Orb to break the barrier. On the final stage, when there's the Attack Down and the Paralysis, we have a way to get around that with our, what's his names? The Dogstorm and the Kawamatsu. They're going to give us Attack Down and Paralysis removal, which is really, really nice. You also have the support of Raizo here. That's another option for you. You guys can use the Raizo support to remove more Paralysis there. You also have, I don't have him, but Kobe. The Kobe support can remove Attack Down here, which is another really, really good option. And then that way, you probably don't need to bring like Kawamatsu or Dogstorm if you have those supports. Then you can bring someone else to get around the block orbs on this stage, which could help out a lot. And then with that block orb manipulation, you can then save the Straw Hat special for the revive. That could like that's gonna be the ideal situation. Otherwise, you can always just pop the Straw Hat special, like not use the Toki ability. Pop the Straw Hat special, get all their crazy buffs, and then just remove the paralysis and that with Dogstorm and that, and then just carry that in. That should work for a pretty long time as well. But Toki's just a really good option as well. Shouldn't have any issues whatsoever. If you have those supports, go crazy, go nuts, go wild. And this team should work very, very nicely. Now onto the team with Marco and Ace. The team looks pretty much the same. All we did is we just slapped on Marco and Ace, obviously. And we put on Law. Now Law's great because he can remove Blind Despair and Paralysis, which is very, very handy. And then with the Corazon support, we can remove more Paralysis. The idea of him being here is just to remove the Paralysis, which is great, because Ace can actually get around the Attack Down. Now, Ace removes 6 turns of Attack Down, so I'm assuming it's going to be 6 turns of Attack Down, I guess. Marco, for this fight, he doesn't really do too much. He kind of just sits there, but look, he's a 3 times chain lock, and he's going to like extend the attack boost, but like it is what it is. Same strat. Just use the Garp. He's the free-to-play character to get around the barrier. Toki ability. She's going to give us the 3.5 times attack and orb boost. With Ace, though, like, you could hang on to that. But again, bring a friend Straw Hat. Sorry, with this team, you want to bring a friend Marco. So you actually, like, want to, like, shenanigan it somehow with extending the attack boost with Marco. So that way you can extend that 3.5 times attack boost. And then with the super typing of Toki, you can get color affinity as well. So it all should work pretty nicely on the top of my head. But like I said, we'll have to check out the playthrough video when that comes around. But you know me, I like to use one team beats all. And with that said, let's check out those teams. Alright, so the first one team that beats all looks a little bit like this. It is led by the legend Toki with the Raizo support. Raizo can remove 2 turns of paralysis. Toki's just awesome for one team beats alls, because she can just use like her Toki ability and then give the 3.5 times attack, 3.5 times orb, and then you can just fill the rest of the team out with the utility that you need. You need to bring Strength, Psi, Ink characters, and Free Spirits fighters. They're the ones that get the full buff across every single stage, and you will be absolutely fine there. We do have Usopp here. Usopp can remove 5 turns of bind and attack down. With the Nami support, we can get more bind removal. I don't know how many turns of bind removal we need, but that's always nice. With the Toki Toki ability on your captains, you can actually get around the Despair with a friend Straw Hats in their Super Switch. You have Paralysis removal. You also have Robin here to get around Defense Up and more Despair removal if you need it. But she can also use something like the Mr. 1 support or the Bardo support is another really good option. And then we have the combination of Garp and Sengoku. Garp and Sengoku are great for those barrier stages, really, really handy. Garp can also give you a Strength Orb on your captain. You can get the Chain Boundary effect with Sengoku. Sengoku also has the support of Limited Rare Recruit Corazon for more blind and attack down removal. If you have support Kobe, who I don't have as I mentioned, put him on Garp. That's more attack down removal for you guys as well. That way you probably don't even need Corazon, but look, it is something to note. Nevertheless, to get around the block orbs, we have the Straw Hats. To get around the unfavorable orbs, we have the Garb special giving us orbs on the left-hand side. It should all just work very, very nicely off the top of my head. I don't see this one being having too many issues. And this particular team doesn't use Ace or Marco either. Unfortunately, it doesn't use a friend captain Ace or Marco. You probably could bring a friend Ace, I guess. Maybe a friend Marco, actually, because Marco would boost everyone. But Ace would be the one that you want to rotate the block orbs. That is really, really important. I guess you could probably find a way to, I don't know, change something. Maybe like the Usopp to like someone else that can like rotate block orbs as well. I don't know. You could even like do something with Bon Clay as your captain if you have Ivankov. That is actually another option here as well. You could easily use Ivankov. Not Ivankov. What am I saying? Bon Clay. You could easily use Bon Clay here as well. He's getting fully boosted. He would give a base stat boost. And with this particular team, you would really want to make sure that you bring like a friend Marco. You wouldn't. You'd really want to bring a friend Ace, but then you wouldn't be getting the buff on Garp and Sengoku, so that's something to note. That's what makes Toki so good, as I was just saying. Like, it makes Toki so good because you just have that Toki Toki ability. But I guess like with Toki as your captain, you are relying on like all back end and damage anyway. So like having a captain that's not boosting your full team, it's not going to be that big of an issue, to be honest. So if you just brought Ace and then have the Toki Toki ability on Ace and Toki just for that one variation, I don't see it being that much of an issue. But this team should rock it. This team should roll it. But moving on to the final team of the video now. Looks a little bit like this one right here. Now the idea... Alright, so we mix it up a little bit. We are using Mr. Bon Clay as our captain, which is very, very nice. We can actually do something like this as well now that I'm really looking at it. This will get rid of all of the paralysis for us. Whether or not we need to use it or not, like, nevertheless. But we are using Bon Clay as our captain with Marco and Ace on the team. We have the Garp to remove the barriers once again. Robin's great because she can get around the Despair and the defense up, as well as the damage reduction. But the damage reduction and defense up's on the same stage, I'm pretty sure. So Marco's the one to remove the defense up now that I'm really looking at it. Yeah, Marco's the one to remove the defense up. Robin's there to remove the damage reduction and then the paralysis support of Bardo. If you don't have Mr. 1 on Bon Clay, you might have to look at some other options there. You can get some more attack down removal with the Kobe support, but Ace removes all that attack down, which is great. He also rotates block orbs as well as unfavorable orbs, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's the one that rotates the block orbs and unfavorable orbs. Bon Clay is going to be a base attack boost. He's also a bigger chain lock. With this, we basically have everything that we need except for an orb boost. That is the only thing that I can like see that is like lacking on this particular team. But I don't know if we'll actually need it per se until the later stages of the fight. And then we have to start changing stuff up. But we should be okay until then. We could probably bring something like Snake Man as our captain, to be honest. V2 Snake Man, he would be a pretty good option. He's a fighter, he's a free spirit character, he's a strength character. He can be an orb booster, so there's also that as well. He has his super type to give us more damage on stage 2 and stuff as well. So that is another option for you guys if you are missing this Bon Clay. You could easily just use Mr. V2 Snake Man there. He should work absolutely fine. And then just bring a friend Marco, because everyone is a fighter or a free spirit character. Friend Marco would work very, very nicely, and will be very, very hunky-dory. So there you guys go. There are the teams for the new Super Boss. best of luck to your alliance. Big shout out to Frankie House once again. Let me know what you thought about the teams. Let me know what teams you'll be using, or if there's any changes to my teams you think that would work really, really well in the comment section below. But while you're down there, don't forget to belt the like button for me if you are new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!